The animation begins with an epic scene showing how slaves work tirelessly in a salt mine owned by the Zolian Empire. Their lives depends on it, so they must work continuously as if death has spared them. When one of them falls out of tiredness, a soldier threatens him with a whip, ordering him to stand up. You will feel empathy when you see Van, the leader of the Lone Antlers who is now a slave, save his fellow slave from the wrath of an angry soldier. This act of insubordination lands Van in a closed-up cell that has no ventilation. Little did they know that the black dogs of the Fire Horse village are close to the mine, and when they find their way in, nobody is spared, whether young or old. One of the black dogs attacks a mother and her child, preying on the mother to death and clinging onto the child with its fangs. On approaching Van's cell, the black dog hears no sound until the moment it steps on the chains bounding Van's neck. Fortunately, Van succeeds in snatching the child out of the dog's mouth, but he cannot save himself from a life-changing bite. The cry of the child wakes Van up, and a new strength in him helps him crush the wooden cell and escape with the child. When Van enters the city, he discovers that the black dogs also attack the city. Again, Van sees himself as a survivor, and he names the young girl Yuna. Meanwhile, the Zolian priests gather to pray and cremate the bodies of the victims of the attack. Yotalu, the imperial prince and brother to the Zolian king, suspects that the Aquafa loyalists are the masterminds behind this tragic plan. However, Yolim, the supervisor of the salt mine, thinks otherwise since the friendship between the kingdom of Aquafa and the Zolian Empire has thrived for more than 10 years. Hosal Ugaral, a sacred doctor, arrives in Zol to meet Yotalu. He asks Yotalu to delay the cremation so he can inspect the bodies. The sacred doctor proceeds to carry out his duty to fulfill the reason he came to Zol. He discovers that the bodies from the falconry party have similar marks from animal bites. Hosal tells Yotalu that the bites are caused by black dog fever, also known as mitsul. They move as a team, along with Zolian priests, to go to the salt mine to see the attacked workers. Say, the greatest tracker sent by Yolim, informs them of her findings. Showing them footprints on the floor, she believes that a worker escaped the mine alive after one of the black dogs bit him. Hosal reveals to them that the blood of a survivor who is immune to mitsul can be used to make an antidote against the disease. Yotalu orders that the soldiers find out the identity of the man who escaped. Immediately, they bring feedback about Van, telling Yotalu that he was taken away at the Battle of Kashuna Rivers and he used to be the leader of the Lone Antlers. Yotalu remembers Van from the battle, after reminiscing how the broken antler saved him at the battle. He orders Sane to track down Van and bring him back alive. Back in the forest, Van finds a healthy pregnant puica while hunting. He finds Toma, a puica breeder, trapped with a swollen ankle, so Van offers to help him. While they return to the city, Toma calls Van special, admitting his surprise at how he managed to ride the puica without getting hurt. The palace is in chaos as Yotalu reports to his brother, Yotalu the Zolian king, of the casualties. Yotalu is angry at the mention of the mitsul since he is also facing the consequences of the disease. He believes that the disease is a result of a curse made by a dead aquaface when the Zolian troops invaded the land years ago. The Emperor's Eye's visit is around the corner, and Yotalu feels this is just the wrong time for the mitsul to spread. Yolan tries to convince him that the curse and disease are mere superstitions, hence, Yotalu asks him to lick his blood if he feels the disease is only a superstition. But a cough of blood stops this process, and Hostel reminds them that only the blood of an infected victim can be used to make an antidote to cure the king. The priest doctors object to this, saying that the king's blood can never be infiltrated with that of a commoner. While Hosal returns home, he ponders on Yotalu's reaction and Yolim's quietness. It seems strange to him that the things that books say barely correspond with reality. The mitsul can only be contacted by those who are not from Aquafa. Yolan's quietness is truly something to be observed. He is the mastermind behind the ongoing spread of the mitsul, not just him alone but with the king of Aquafa. They intend to take over everything and put Yotalu on the throne as king of Zol, so they can control the affairs of their people. Yolan wants them to take things slowly, but Ofan, the chief of the Fire Horse village that houses the black dogs, interrupts them, waiting for orders to send the dogs to inflict the disease on another Zolian village. Toma returns to his village with Van and Yuna. The villagers thank Van for saving Toma, so they beg him to stay with them in their village with Yuna, whom they presume to be his daughter. Now we get to see the anticipated death of a victim infected with the mitsul, but this time it is Yotalu the king. At the funeral, Yolam suggests that the visit of the Emperor's Eyes be postponed, but Yotalu informs him that the Emperor is already at the border. Everyone seems to be looking for Van, whom they all believe holds the solution to the spreading disease, but Van is searching for Ashimi to use as a guide to binding the puica. He trains with the puica, riding it excellently well. Although it takes a while, Van and Yuna feel among the villagers, and this makes Toma happy. The father and daughter accompany the villagers to watch the pregnant Puuka give birth. The young Yuna even teaches Toma how to milk the Puuka and drink its milk. This is one of the cultures the Aquaface hold dear. At the sight of this, Oma, an old villager, tells Van a story he knows and wishes to forget. How the Puuka riders known as Lone Antlers saved the village from the Zolian army 10 years ago. Left Van, he would rather not listen to Oma's story, so he takes this time to bond with Yuna. This makes Yuna happy that she even gets Van to promise her a deer whistle. When they return to the village, a Zolian horse with a dying rider approaches them. He claims the black dogs bit him, and the bite marks confirm this. Hosal sets to leave Zol immediately when he hears from his right-hand man, Makokin, that the whereabouts of Van have been discovered and Yolim is after him. However, Yolim and his troops arrive at the small Aquafa village, requesting Van follow them quietly. Van agrees to do this, only if the villagers are kept safe since they know nothing. Yolim is not a man of truth, so thanks to Ofen, he orders the black dogs to attack the village. Although Van asks Toma to hold Yuna, the little girl is quite stubborn that she falls into the wave brought by the black dogs. The dogs take away Yuna, and Van follows them, thanks to the Puuka sent by Toma. Just when Yuna is close to his reach, Sei fires an arrow at him, engaging in a fight to capture him for Yolim. Hosal arrives in time and stops Sei from killing Van. He orders Makokin to distract Yolim and his men from coming after Van. A frightening dream wakes Van to see Hosal and Sei discussing the Mitsuel. As for Hosal, he thinks Yolim has something to do with the Mitsuel. It is the only way to take out the Zolians and retrieve independence for Aquafa. Sei believes the retribution is perfect for Zolians since they murdered her parents years ago. The wounded Van proceeds to escape with a Puuka, but Hosal stops him with a fair proposal to follow him and treat his wounds until they find Yuna and collect his blood for the antidote. Sei, who once wanted Van dead, agrees to become a navigator on their search for Yuna. In the woods, Hosal explains to Van why his blood is needed to defeat the Mitsuel and prevent it from spreading, but Van discloses that the disease is more than what they think since it is keeping him alive for an unknown purpose. Hosal learns of the death of Van's wife and son, yet they are searching for Yuna, his new daughter. The Emperor's eyes is in the palace for the visit, but Yodalu does not want to see him since there is no more interest between them. Instead, he seeks to add the Aquafa army to the Zolian military. This is to remind them of the terms of the treaty and prevent them from rebellion. Yolim and the king of Aquafa do not take this lightly, and they vow to remove Yotalu and Van from the picture to achieve their dream. While Hosal is bent on finding out why the disease affects only Zolians and not the people of Aquafa, Van focuses on making a deer whistle for Yuna, who he claims saved his soul from darkness. They continue their journey until they get close to the Fire Horse village, guided by the black dogs. However, some Aquaface Stiltwalkers attack them, leading to a fight where they run away out of fear for Sei. While Sei listens to Van's wish to see Yuna again and stay as her father forever, she wonders why Van would care so much for Yuna, an orphan given to an unstable salt miner. But Van tells her that there are more important things than blood ties. Realizing the love he has for Yuna and citing Hosal, who was asleep, Sei directs Van to the Fire Horse village where he will find his daughter. She offers to be his friend and asks him to return to the village alive to train Yuna. When Hosal wakes up, he discovers that Sei left him and Van to locate the Fire Horse village themselves. The moment they reach the Mitsuel village, Van is led by Kinoi, the strange voice from his dream who was also the king of the Fire Horse village, into the entrance gate. His soul becomes one with that of the village, and Hosal is taken away as a hostage. Ofen welcomes Van, telling him of his plan to reclaim the Fire Horse village for the people and rebel against the Zolians. The Puuka leads Van to see other Puukas gathered. Even Ofen confirms that the land is a sacred place for Puukas. He tells Van that the Mitsuel has chosen him, and he must take the position as their king. Sei returns to Yolen with a negative report, and he orders her imprisonment for losing Van. Now the king of Aquafa and Yolen plan to kill Ofen and erase the whole Fire Horse village to leave no traces while they await the Emperor's visit. Shiken, a doctor at the Fire Horse village, asks Hosal to attend to some infected sick boys. It pains Hosal to see them dying, and he begs Ofen not to take away Van to become the king of their village. Only his blood can help defeat the disease, but Van must do what he has to do, reject the offer to be king and live happily with Yuna. He finally meets Kinoi, and when he tells him of the answer he chose because of Yuna, the old king forcefully infiltrates Van's mind. However, Hosal manages to collect Van's blood to use for the antidote, as they earlier agreed. But Kinoi scatters the village, causing Van's attempt to strangle Hosal. Since Yuna is also a survivor of the Mitsuel, Kanoi takes the chance to possess her, making her the ruler of the village immediately. Determined to kill the emperor, Ophan enters the city with his men, disrupting the celebration. Tolim sees them and seizes the opportunity to eliminate his target, but Ophan slashes Tolim's right hand and rides forward to face his death by an arrow. The dogs approach the emperor as well, with Yuna taking a lead. Luckily, Van finds a way to take the bite for the emperor, since he is still immune to the Mitsuel. This does not stop Yuna from her decision to go back to the Firehorse village, all in a bid to spread the Mitsuel to kill the Zolians. Van chases after her, and finally he lets go of the darkness in his heart so he can bring back Yuna's innocent soul. However, he hands over the whistle he made for her and decides to take her stance as the Dog King, just so she can live among humans. Yuna returns to reality and runs into the arms of Sei, who consoles her. Hostel returns to Zol, divulging the secret he discovered. The Ashimi is the cure to the disease, and the Zolians also could be protected from the disease if they drink Puika milk like the Aquaface. With Van as the new Dog King, Hostel assures Yotalu that the Zolians will be safe in the meantime. The Emperor's Eye's visit is a success, but Toma, Osel, Sei, and Yuna still feel Van's presence despite the manner he left. They still miss him, wishing he was there among them to guide them. Until now, Yuna still invites him with her whistle. Thank you for watching, guys. If you love animation movies, please subscribe to this channel and keep watching.